So now let's look at the definition of a function. Let's say we have two sets, x. So we have the sets x and y, and these two sets are non-empty. They are two non-empty sets. So let's say I have x, then I have words y. So let's say this is, I have x1, x2 to xn, then I have y1, y2 to yn. We can define the function on these two sets. So let's say we have a function, or what you call a rule. So f is the function. So we have a function that moves from words x to y, x to words y. So if I have this relationship from x to y satisfies certain properties such that, one, I could have any two ordered pairs. So any two ordered pairs. So that if I pick x in x, then y in y, I could form an ordered pair, that is what, x and what, y, which is in words my function f, which is in my function what, f. That is what the function. Then two, if let's say my x and y is in f, and I have x and z also in my f, then I can say that my y is equal to what, z for that. So in reference, or what we mean is, if I have a variable, so every variable in x, or every element I pick in x depends on a variable in y. So x has a corresponding variable or value in y, such that the value of x I pick determines exactly one value in y here. So there's a value of x I could pick that determines a value in y, or I pick another x value that determines another words y value. So you could have many of that. So that if the value of x determines, if x determines y, then it implies that x is a function of y. So say I have y, if I have y to be equal to 2x minus 1, you realize that y, the value of y depends on the value of what x was given. So that if I want to write the function, I could write the function of f of x to be equal to what, 2x minus what, 1. So this is basically the definition of what, a function, which is a rule. If you remember your rule, or a map, x mapping towards another word, function. Example of this is So here, what happens is that my y, so from here you realize that x becomes what? An independent variable. X is independent. Then y is dependent because y depends on what? The value was x, dependent. Okay, so let's take a basic example. If you consider the area of a circle, to consider the area of a circle, what is that? It is a equal to what? Pi r what squared. We know that pi is what? A constant. So to find the area, you realize that my area actually depends on what? R. So I can say that my area is a function of what? R, which is what? Pi r squared. So my R becomes what? The independent what? Variable. And A is what? The dependent variable. So you could have many. Let's look at area of a triangle. Area of a triangle. What is the area of a triangle? It is A equal to what? Half base times what? Our height, which is what? H. So I have 1 over 2 p what? H. You realize that if this was a function, then my area depends on what? The base and what? The height, which is what? 1 over 2 p what? H. So my b and h are what? Independent. Then A is what? The area of a triangle is the dependent variable because it depends on what? The base and what? The height. It's very interesting how functions operate, and there are so many ways you could represent what? A function. So one of the ways to represent a function, so representation of a function. So you could do it algebraically, like we were just writing the area of a circle depends on what? The radius. This is algebraically. You can also use tables. So you could use tables. If I have a function, let's say f of x to be equal to 2x plus 1. Let's say I give you the values for x from what? 1 to what? 3. I can find the values for x, then what? Y, which is what? F of what? X. So that if I have y is what? 1, 2, and 3, you can represent it as what? If I substitute 1, it is what? 1 times 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1. This is 3. 2 is what? 4 plus 1 is 5. Then 3 plus times 2, 6 plus 1 is what? 7. So given just the table alone, you can actually find a rule. You can find a rule, which is the words, the function we are talking about. So finding the rule will actually define the function words for you. You can also look at it in a graphical form, that's geometrically by graphs. So geometrically, geometrically. So just like f of x equals to what? X squared. If you sketch, so you know that this function f of x is equal to what? X squared. Then you can do verbally as well, like we looked at earlier. The simple applications that the area of a triangle is a function of what? The base and height, which is equal to what? Half base times what? Height. So this is the basic definition and representation of a function. If you are new to my channel, kindly don't forget to subscribe, like and share the video, and give your comments in the comment section. Till then, kindly stay safe. Bye.